Well, hello there. Sorry if my throat's a little bit rough, or I look a little bit rough. It's because I am recovering from a sore throat. However, it's Jonathan Royle here. I just wanted to bring you the final news, or rather the latest news regarding the mentalism and mind reading secrets of Repro Magic volumes 1, 2 and 3. Because there is some news. But firstly, let me just tell you something. Please bear with me. Originally, what happened was there were like 33 years of Club 71 and Magician magazines of Repro Magic. Now, back in 2008, Mike Donato of Mike Donato's Magic Supplies purchased all the copyrights on all the Repro Magic materials, books, the magazines, the props, the tricks, the everything. Now, just before Christmas, I approached Mike and I've been speaking with him and I've been working on this, and we're now in the middle of April, so January, February, March, for a good 4 months solid. I've been working on this, but more importantly, I've had other people working on this as well. I've outsourced to people who know what they're doing more in certain fields of their own. And the idea was, can we get these into books? Originally it was going to be that I was going to use a company called Lulu and have these as hardback books, but then they would have been realistically probably selling for a lot more than they are going to do. Unfortunately, that would have meant a completely different layout of them, so that got scrapped. I then looked at Amazon and their CreateSpace, our publishing platform, for paperback books, and once again, unfortunately, it came down to the layout. Now let me explain. These books, and if I can, I'm just going to kind of flick through them like that so you get an idea and see some of each of the pages. As you can see, if any of you remember Club 71, each of these pages is exactly as it appeared in the magazine. In other words, it's got the same layout, the same wording, the same even odd errors. Some of the articles have got the odd error in, and then in the next issue they will publish a correction. Well, you will find the errors in here, and then you will also find the articles where they correct it and make the reader aware of what should have been said in a certain sentence. This is as much a historical document as it actually is a book from which to learn amazing mentalism and mind reading feats, because it'll bring back memories to those who've seen Club 71 before, and for those who haven't, you'll get an idea of what the magazine truly looked like, because this is the exact layout. An A5 is pretty much exactly the size most editions of Repro's Club 71 magazine were, hence the original plan to publish it as an A5, albeit quite thick each of the volumes book. So we looked into ways of getting this done, and unfortunately kept encountering a problem. The problem was that the original files, namely the original magazines, had been taken, professionally scanned high resolution so as to capture the image as a page. Now there's only so many ways you can alter that, but ultimately for it to remain identical, I don't want to go into technicalities, but here's the thing. Short of starting from scratch and literally getting someone to retypeset every single word of these almost 1,200 pages of text that make up the 3 volumes, and short of commissioning someone to scan all the drawings or do them all from scratch again, and then short of getting someone to spend absolutely ages to go through and lay it out exactly as it was in the original magazines, so that it looks exactly as it does when it was originally published, you get the idea, so that things are exactly laid out the way they were when they were published in the magazine, would have taken months and months and months of work, extreme expense, and to be honest, I've got so many other projects on. I just haven't got the time, unfortunately, to put aside for that. So I investigated other ideas. Unfortunately, I found a company who could take the PDFs I put together, the electronic files for each of the 3 volumes, and print them out. Now, there are 2 ways this can happen. One is as an A5 book, which looks something like that. It does on the back, I warn you, have their print, said printed by printmypdf.com. To be warned, there will be that stamped on the back. That's how it comes. Well, it does in the A5 version anyway. But this is produced, printed, and then bound together. It's got a card back cover there, proper card. There's a clear plastic front cover protecting the front page, and it's kind of, all the pages are stuck together. Perfect binding, they call this, perfect bound, so that it looks like a normal paperback book would. And ultimately this has enabled the pages to be printed exactly as they appeared in the magazine, which means you've got the exact layout, it looks exactly as it did. So it's both a historical collector's item as well as an absolute goldmine of mentalism and mind reading material. So there are just couple more things you need to know before you look below this video and place your order. A couple of things you need to know are this. There are 2 formats of this book available. There is the A5 perfect bound format that looks like a paperback book. Okay? So when you've got all 3 volumes of that, volume 3, volume 2, and volume 1 on your shelf, they take up a fair bit of space. There's a heck of a lot of quality information in there, and every one of the volumes, as I say, is laid out exactly as the original was. But there is also, I'm delighted to say, for a little tiny extra price, what I much prefer, is this. I much prefer this one. Okay? This is an A4, much larger format, spiral bound, metal spiral binding version, printed by the same company, but we've got the clear plastic cover again, and then the page. This makes each and every page of this way more readable. The text is bigger. Let me just the text on every page is bigger. The images are easier to see. Okay, so you get the idea. In every regard, the fact that it opens out and can be laid flat on a table, I think is a bonus point. That leaves also more blank space for those of you who like to make notes on pages, and because this is material that is commercial and should be used in the real world. So I think the A4 edition is much easier to read because it opens out flat, and 3 of them on your bookshelf, well, as you can imagine, because they're very thick, very big. And speaking of size, although size isn't everything, it does make a difference to the cost. Now the costs are fully explained below this video, but here is the thing. Before I tell you the cost, there's a couple of things I want you to know, because this is the most honest sale of something. I'm letting you know that these look exactly as they did in the original magazine, therefore they do have the odd spelling errors, okay, or grammar errors. They have the odd bits missing from certain articles, and then in the next issue they corrected it and updated it, but all the information's in the books. It's just that the articles appear exactly as they did in the magazine. That's the point. It's both a historical document as well as having all that wonderful material in there. A couple more points, and this applies to either the A5 or the A4 editions. It applies to both. I put little bookmarks in so I can find them easy. In the A5 editions, be aware, if you look at that, they used to get a heck of a lot of words onto a single page. So you want to have good eyesight for the A5 edition. It does fit on this bookcase easier. It is more conventional book size. It's the actual size the magazine originally was for the majority of the years, but there is one heck of a lot of text on there, and it is very small print as a result of that. Whereas with the A4 edition, it's twice the size and much easier to read. Also be aware there are some pages where you get odd bits like this. Because of the grayscale printing on the camera, you probably won't be able to read what it says in that bit. You can with the naked eye looking at it here, but it's irrelevant because looking at it here you would see that that is an advert for subscribing to the magazine. You can read it, you can see it with the naked eye, but because of the grayscale used on the camera it probably won't be that clear. But there are some odd sections that are like that, but they are essentially adverts for other things. They do not affect your ability or enjoyment of learning any of the mentalism or mind reading routines, but I want you to know about that in advance, okay? No surprises, talk truth here. And in just a few places, but mainly in volume 1, okay, which were scanned from really old magazines. It's mainly the older magazines where this occurred, but there's the odd edition of the old magazine that basically when they printed it, there was tiny bits missing from some of the letters, some of the characters, you know, when they printed it. Let's see if I can find a bit of an example for you. Yeah, I've got one. It took me a long time to actually find an example because there's not that many of them at all. But there is one example in volume 1, which as I say is the older editions, where you might get the one or two of these type of things in each volume. In fact, no, just in volume 1 and 2, because obviously the newer the magazines, the less likely it was to happen. Now what happened here is that the magazine that was scanned, that's what it looked like. So you've got a perfect scan of the original magazine as it went out, but it's just that the magazine didn't print completely wonderfully. However, if you look very closely, you can make out what it says, namely, in this example, stick to the ambiguous wording, we'll spell through the alphabet later. This leaves you free to interpret we as either I or you. By looking at it, even though there is 1 or 2 letters missing from 1 or 2 words, you can still fully read and understand, especially in conjunction with the rest of it that you've read. And that is the case with any of the couple of other places where that occurs. It only happens about 5 or 6 times in the entire 3 volumes, but I want you to be aware of it in advance. There are no surprises here, this is talk truth, but this is what you should expect because they were scanned off old magazines that were printed over a period of 33 years that took a heck of a lot of work to find from different sources, to then get professionally scanned, to then take hours and hours of work, and I do mean what constituted weeks of work to go through and find out exactly what all the mentalism and mind reading material was, because not all of it was indexed in each of the magazines as being mind reading or mentalism material. Some of it was indexed under cards, but it was, when you checked into it, was fully a mentalism and mind reading routine using cards. Some of it was indexed under coins, but such as jackpot coins. But it was definitely a mentalism and mind reading routine. So there was hours of work that I did that to find all the mentalism and mind reading material that ultimately makes up these 3 volumes, the full details of which are below this video or on the page mentalismsecrets.co.uk. That webpage again, www.mentalismsecrets.co.uk. So now you know there's 2 versions of this available. There's the A5 perfect bound paperback book type version, okay, and there is the A4, the one I prefer, opens out fully flat, double the size of text, far easier to read, A4 metal spiral bound version. The only other thing I suppose you need to know right now is the price. Well, let me tell you this first, consider this. For you to get all 33 years of the magazines would cost you substantially more than the one-time investment into this 3-volume set. That is a fact. Further, it would take you an age to source all the magazines, because very few people out there have got an entire collection of them all from the beginning to the end, and the ones that have don't want to sell them. So, if it were possible for you to get all the magazines, it would cost you a small fortune. But then you would have all 33 years of material, but guess what? It would take you hours and hours, weeks and weeks to go through that and find all the mentalism and mind reading and psychic entertainment material. I've already done that for you. So there's no stuff in it. Not all the other stuff's gone, okay? So that's 91.75% of the stuff ever published in the magazine was not mentalism and mind reading. But 8.25% of the stuff printed over the 33-year run or whatever it was did turn out to be mentalism and mind reading material. And between these 3 volumes, that's right, 3 volumes, you get that 8.25% of gold dust material. Now by gold dust I truly mean it is, because as I've looked through this, I've seen stuff that many of the so-called modern day famous names have republished, I assume through independent creation, and without them being aware of its previous publication. But many of the things that have been published in recent years as being the latest miracle mentalism and mind reading routine are within the pages of these 3 volumes, but released often decades ago by other names in the industry. Some of the stuff released by Barry Richardson, some by Max Mavin, aka Phil Goldstein, some by Steve Jones, some by Simon Lavelle, or one of them, you know, there's like in the region of over 50 different star name contributors to these 3 volumes as a whole, but their names are all listed on mentalismsecrets.co.uk below this video. There is stuff that if you bought them in individual modern day PDF claimed as being new format from other people, you'd only need to buy maybe 5 or 6. Well, let's see, the going rate these days is about £20 sterling people are charging for a PDF. So if you bought, let's say, what is it, 5, 6, 7, if you bought 8 PDFs of other people, you could end up with just 8 routines that actually are published already in these pages, because there is so much material in here that people seem to be independently recreating, because I'm sure that they're not aware of what's already been in print. That for the small price for this 3-volume set, you actually get hundreds of commercial, tried, tested and proven audience crowd pleasers, real mind bogglers, real mentalism, real mind reading, mixed with the odd bit of mental magic, psychic entertainment. You've got mega value for money here. There is enough stuff that you could build an entire career on what's in these publications. There's even cold reading stuff in there, I know, because I wrote it, a column that's in these publications in my former stage name. There is stuff to suit every taste and every venue. Close-up magic, styles mentalism, cabaret, stuff that's ideal for television, corporate theatre, everything. I cannot recommend the contents of these 3 volumes enough in terms of the varied contents. You know, there's techniques in peaks, centre tear methods, which with those alone you can do hundreds if not thousands of different routines. And as I say, there's stuff galore that as you're reading it you'll think, oh, such and such a person claimed that as their original idea in their book published in 2015 or 2014 or 2013, 12, 11 or 10. But yet they were in print decades ago from other creators. They really are. Anyone thinking about writing their own mentalism book as well really should think about studying these 3 volumes of mind-blowing stuff, because then they will likely find that some of the stuff they think's original, novel or new isn't. It's already been in publication for decades. So here's the thing. The A5 ones, 3 of them are very, very heavy. The 3 of them packaged up with protected bubble wrap and then protected packaging so that they arrive to you safely, and they will be sent by a form of Royal Mail postage. That means they will be tracked along the way When they arrive with you, you will need to provide a signature to prove you've taken delivery of them, because they will also be insured, because obviously there are only going to be a limited number of these ever printed and ever sold worldwide. So each and every one is valuable, so it will be tracked, insured, and you will have to sign for it. But in the A5 format, like that, I've got some notes here to remind me, but in the A5 format, this weighs in, with protected packaging, at close to 1.7 kilograms. That's 1,700 grams. It's a pretty heavy package, okay? Now, subsequently, that means, and I've got notes here, that to post these in England, okay, signed for delivery, would be by an Express 48 parcel force. That will cost £12 sterling alone. To send them to Europe, anywhere in Europe, will cost near enough £16 sterling. To send them to America will cost near enough £22 sterling. And to send them to pretty much anywhere else in the world will cost close to £23 sterling. So we've got that expense to pay from my end alone to ensure these books get to you safely. That's if they're in the A5 format. In the A4 format, they're twice the size of the A5 ones, but as I say, I really love the fact that they open out flat. They're a heck of a lot heavier when there's 3 of them and they're packaged up safely. And to send them to you, so that there has to be a signature when you receive them, so it's tracked along the way and so it's insured. In the UK, via Express 48-hour parcel force, it will cost just short of £14. In Europe, to send to places in Europe, it will cost just short of £23. In America, it will cost just short of £32, and for the rest of the world, just short of £34. That's for the postage alone. I want you to understand these are very heavy parcels, and to send them in such a manner that they are trackable, they get to you safely, you have to sign for them so I know they've arrived, they can't get lost. If they do, that they're insured, because each of them are collector's items, because there's only a limited edition ever being printed, is a major expense in itself. Then, just so you know, this is full disclosure, to get each of the A5 versions printed, each one of these, the perfect bound paperback type book ones, each of them cost me almost £20 sterling each to have delivered to my front door, so that then I can sign and number them for you. And there's 3 of them in a set. So that's almost £60 alone in printing and delivery costs to get these to my door, ready to ship to you, and then on top of that I've got to add on the postage cost to send to you, to put that in perspective. Or, if it's the A4 one, my favourite, because it opens flat, as we said, these are much heavier, more paper, more printing, it's more expensive for the metal spiral binders. These cost me almost £33 sterling each to get printed. That's like £99 sterling for a set of 3. It's what it cost me. Now I know there's people going to go, there's places you could do this cheaper yourself, do it at home, go to Staples. No, I don't have the time, plus I want a professional company that are insured. I want it so that I get a consistent quality and the stuff arrives with me, because I've got other things going on in my life, okay? So that's what it's costing. That is truthfully the case. Plus on top of that goes the postage costs, which, as we said, you know, with the A4 ones could be as much as £34 for some places in the world, which would mean with the cost of the books, that's like almost £134 that would be cost to me immediately just to get this dispatched to you. Well, there's other costs as well. Or for the A5 ones, for, you know, other places in the world, £20 per book, that's 60 quid, plus the postage, it could be as much as £83 just to get the books to your front door. Now, I'm telling you this, most magic dealers, but I'm telling you this because I want you to see that this project isn't about me making money or making profit. This has been a project of passion because I grew up reading Club 71 and the Magician magazine. I loved it. The stuff I loved immensely most of all were the mentalism and mind reading routines, and over the years as I got more of the magazines, I just kind of wished that all the other stuff had been pushed out and had been put together. Well, my dreams come true, and the 3 volumes now exist that contain just the mentalism, the mind reading, the cold reading, the psychic entertainment, and the mental magic and seance material that was published during those 30 odd years of those 2 magazines via Repro Magic have now been condensed down into 3 volumes. The contributing authors to these are mentioned below this video on mentalismsecrets.co.uk, as are the number of pages, which is almost 1200 between the 3 volumes. There are hundreds of routines. This is mega value for money, because here we are. Now that you've got an insight into what it's going to cost me, and this project isn't about making money, let me tell you there will be a limited edition of these. There will never be more than 150 copies, 150 sets of this trilogy. So that's 150 copies of volume 1, 150 copies of volume 2, and 150 copies of volume 3, but they're only ever being sold, by me at least, as a set of 3 together. You can't just buy volume 1. I haven't got time to be messing around like that. You get the entire set of 3 at one time for one purchase price sent to you, whether it be in the A5 format or the A4. And to make this clear, this is not trick wording. I'm not going to release 150 copies of the A4 one and 150 copies of the A5 one. It's 150 sets of the 3 books in total. So if everyone orders A4 ones, there will only ever be A4 ones in existence. If everyone orders A5 ones, there will only ever be A5 ones in existence. In truth, some people will order A4 because they want it to open out flat, they want bigger text, easier to read. Some people are going to order A5 because they want more conventional book format. But between them in total, there will only ever be, released by me, 150 sets of this trilogy of 3 books. And each of them will be ordered in number. So let's say we sell an A5 one first and then an A4 one is the second order. This will be numbered 001 and this will be numbered 002. You get the idea. The point is there will only be 150 sets in total. But you, the person ordering, have the choice of either ordering a set of A5, perfect bound, paperback style book ones, or the A4 spiral bound book ones. And in that regard, the prices and details of how to order and pay are below this video. Now, if for some reason you were to order and your money came through and we've already taken orders for the full 150 sets, then your money will be refunded within a couple of hours, the very moment that we're on the internet, okay? Otherwise, you'll get within a few hours an email confirming that we've received your order, and then your order will be placed to our printers. They've then got to print them and bind them and send them to us. We then have to get them and number them and sign them, okay? So that they are definitely identifiable as unique limited editions of that 150 sets. We then have to package them up safely and send them to you. So if you're in England, in the United Kingdom, please allow, okay, up to 2 weeks maximum for delivery from the date you make payment to me, so that we can order them, get them to us and get them sent to you. But the moment we have dispatched them, we will have tracking numbers and all that kind of stuff that are being sent, signed for, ensured delivery. If you're in Europe, please allow up to 3 weeks from the date you order and if you're in America or anywhere else in the world, please allow up to 28 days. In truth, you can probably half those times in half, because generally speaking, the printers, the moment I place the order, have them with me within 48 hours, and then they will be dispatched generally the same day or the next day by me. So usually speaking, within 3 days of you making payment, your package of 3 books will have set off from my local post office, and there will be a tracking number that you're informed of that can then be followed, and your books will be on the way to you. So then if you're in England, you'll generally get them within another 48 hours. So in England normally you'll have them in less than a week. In Europe, less than 10 days, and for America and the rest of the world, about 2 to 2.5 weeks. But allow the times that I said to be on the safe side. But everything is tracked and insured. So if anything was unfortunately to go missing, we can take it up with the post office, we can get insurance paid out, we can get them replaced, and this, that, the other. Because remember, there's only 150 sets worldwide. So, a couple of final things. All the prices now to order are below this video. Please remember everything I've said in this video, namely that the A5 ones are very small print, you need good eyes, whereas the A4 ones, much easier to read, my preference, open out flat. And that in both cases, because they're identical in their content, there is that grayscale thing on some of the adverts making them difficult to read, but not impossible. But that doesn't affect learning any of the mentalism and mind reading. And there is also the odd bit where, you know, the odd parts of letters are missing, but you can still work out what it says. It's just that's the way the magazine was. These are a true, accurate representation of how the magazine was printed. And as I say, I do love the A4 one. So prices are below, how to order is below. If you need to ask me any questions, email me directly on Repro, R-E-P-R-O, at magicalguru.com. That's R-E-P-R-O, Repro, at magicalguru.com. And I will answer whatever questions I can for you, or send me a message on Facebook. My account is facebook.com/Alex, A-L-E-X, the T-H-E, hypnotist, H-Y-P-N-O-T-I-S-T, or search for Alex William Smith, which is my birth name. Okay, so let's finally get to that point you've been waiting for. You know that in recent years, a lot of the so-called famous, up-to-date, modern names, the experts, the gurus, coming up with the mentalism and mind-reading stuff, I've been charging, for example, there's been paperback books that cost around the £70 United Kingdom sterling mark. There's been ones that are hardback, admittedly, but that have cost £200 sterling. And in both of these examples, the books have only been a couple of 100 pages long. Please remember this. Each one of these volumes is almost 400 pages. Almost. So between the 3 volumes, there are almost 1,200 pages. Full details below this video on mentalismsecrets.co.uk. But the point is, there is tons more here. Each of these is realistically double the size of the paperback limited edition mentalism books, or actually not limited edition, because the paperback ones that have been on sale haven't been limited edition, that have been selling for like 70 quid. They're double the size, with contributors who are equally noteworthy, or if not arguably more so, you know, people like Max Maving, Barry Richardson, Steve Jones, Simon Lavelle. I could go on the list on the website. So it's double the thickness. So that would say that we could quite easily charge, in the modern world, £140 per book. Because hey, everyone else is charging about £70 sterling for a couple of 100 pages of stuff and a couple of dozen routines. But here, you'd be getting double that. So let's say double the price, £140 per book. But there are dozens more routines from way more contributors and stuff that is commercial and stuff that you'll read and you go, oh, I thought that was supposed to be new, because I read it in this limited edition mentalism book in recent years. There's stuff in here, seriously, you'll recognise. So 3 of them that are double the price of these paperback books. That's like having 6 of those paperback books at 70 quid each, which would be like 1, 2, 3, £420 United Kingdom sterling. Don't worry, not going to charge you that, because this project was never about making tons of money. This project is about creating 150 works of art, 150 collector's items for 150 people around the world who truly appreciate the quality of the commercial, real-world mentalism and mind reading material that's in those pages, but also want a true collector's item. So here I've got a list which I need to pick up. The prices are, and details are below this video, as I said, on mentalismsecrets.co.uk. But for the A5 perfect bound paperback book style trilogy, remember you get volumes 1, 2 and 3 sent to you in one package, signed for, insured, delivery, signed and numbered to prove that they are literally one of the editions out of the 150. If you're in Britain, the United Kingdom, and you have a United Kingdom British postcode, you can have all three of them sent to you for £140 United Kingdom sterling. To make that clear, that's not £140 for each volume, which some people would try and charge you. That's £140 for all three of them sent to you in the same parcel at the same time. That is equivalent, just so our friends in America know, that's equivalent to about $198, okay, and that's equivalent to about 176 euros. That's right, if you're in England, £140 sterling for all three volumes, including signed for, insured postage. If you're in Europe, anywhere outside of England basically that's considered as being Europe, i.e. in the EU, then you can have the set of three sent to you, including postage and insurance, for £150 United Kingdom sterling, which is about 188 euros. If you are in America or anywhere else in the world that is not considered to be in the EU, Europe, you can have all three volumes sent to you for the one single payment of £160 United Kingdom sterling, which is around, at the current exchange rate, around 228 United States dollars. One payment. If you're in England, it's £140 sterling. If you're considered to be in the EU, i.e. Europe, it's £150. If you're anywhere else in the world, it's £160 for the A5 trilogy. That includes the postage and delivery to you of this extremely big and extremely heavy package containing your set of three limited edition, signed and numbered, will increase in value over the years, most certainly, collector's editions books. If you prefer, as I do, the A4 edition, because it opens out flat, bigger text, easier to read, then I have the prices here for that. If you're in the United Kingdom, to have these sent to your door, signed for delivery, it will be £175 sterling if you have a British postcode. If you're in the EU, aka Europe, you can have them sent to your door, signed for, insured delivery for £185 sterling, which is roughly 233 euros. And if you're in America or anywhere else in the world, you can have these shipped to your front door, signed for and insured delivery for £197 sterling, which is equivalent to roughly 280 United States dollars. So even if you're in America or Hong Kong or some obscure place in the world, even if you're there, even if you order the A4 one, which is the biggest and the heaviest, three of them in a mass parcel, which weighs a heck of a weight, as I said earlier, they will be sent to you insured and signed for delivery to your front door for just £197 UK sterling. That is less than some people are charging for a couple of 100-page hardback limited edition book that quite often contains material that's not quite as original as some of the people claim, and can, with your research, the methods and the routines, be found within the pages of these 3 gold mines of information. Full details of how to order and where to send your money, namely via PayPal, okay, to my PayPal address, details are in text, on the website mentalismsecrets.co.uk. There will only ever be 150 sets of these. Each will be signed and numbered by me, Jonathan Royle, the compiler, who put it all together. On the inside page, kind of here. And your names will be kept on file, so that we can prove that, hey, you've got a genuine copy. Oh, by the way, just before you go, one thing. If you order this and place your order before, and I'm looking at my calendar now, just let me look. Oh yes, it's now, as I can see, Sunday the 17th of April as I make this video, 2016. If you place your order on or before what will be Sunday the 1st of May, okay, so that's no later than 2 weeks away from today. If you make your order before midnight, Greenwich Mean Time, okay, on Sunday the 1st of May for this trilogy, then as well as being sent the 3 volumes direct to your door, I will also set you up a username and password for a private electronic online members area where you will find 25 of my mentalism and mind reading products that collectively, if you bought them all separately, would cost you close almost $900 to buy alone, and I will give you online digital access to those 25 items of mine free of charge. Yes, that's right, absolutely no charge whatsoever. And in fact, that's for everybody who orders before midnight on Sunday the 1st of May. But hey, you know what? Let me just reach in here. For anybody, that's my costumes cupboard, for anybody who orders, the first 50 people to order, the first 50 people to place their order before midnight on Sunday the 1st of May 2016 will also be sent a copy of this Egg, Sausage and Peas, the Mentalist Cookbook, within which you can watch me perform a complete 2-hour theatre show of mainly original mentalism, and then teach you step by step how to build all the props and perform all the routines, either together as a whole or separately, together with loads of other bonus stuff on there, worth its weight in gold. This is professionally produced DVD ROMs that are properly packed. They'll come in your package with your books for the first 50 people to order. Heck, you know what? Throwing caution to the wind, heck. Everybody who orders before midnight on Sunday the 1st of May 2016 will get a username and password to the online digital members area where they get access to the 25 different things worth almost $900, and everyone who orders before midnight on the 1st of May will also be sent a physical copy of Egg, Sausage and Peas, my mentalism training DVD ROM set, as bonus free gifts for saying well done for acting fast and ordering your set of the trilogy that will be limited to just 150 sets worldwide. I can tell you already the first few have already been secured. Needless to say, number 1's gone, but there are very low numbers. You can still get a number below the number 5 if you order right now. Place your order.